I'm going to give you this example. Tell me if you see these Christians. This is the one example of falling away. And this is the one that a lot of people will say, I know a Christian who's no longer a Christian, and they'll describe this. Someone hears Christian language. They get super excited and their zeal outpaces their drive to know God truthfully in his word. They want to go sing. They want to go ministry. They want to go serve. They want to go help. They want to go this. They're happy about salvation. They want heaven. They want community. They want it all. They run right past the actual message and never sit with that. They don't even really know who he is, but they want that. And then as soon as they face something in this world that's against what they want, they walk away. They get told, deconstructionists fall into this a lot. They'll say, I always hated having to go do this at church and this at church. They start snitching on themselves the whole time they were in the church. I was in the church 20 years, but really I always hated this and I always hated that and I always hated this and I always despised this. So what were you there for? You sprouted up with joy. You ran into it head first, but you never sat with it. The seed didn't take time to develop. Did Jesus send out his apostles after one day of preaching to them? The Son of God spent 3 years on them. When Paul met Jesus, do we think Paul just hit the streets because the Holy Spirit was guiding him? That's what we do today. Well, they're leading people to Jesus and the Holy Spirit is guiding them. Listen, look at Paul. Look at what Paul says. Not my opinion. But when he who had set me apart before I was born and who called me by his grace was pleased to reveal his Son to me in order that I might preach him among the Gentiles, I did not immediately consult with anyone. So he didn't run to anyone right away. Nor did I go up to Jerusalem to those who were apostles before me, but I went away into Arabia and returned again to Damascus. Then after 3 years, I went up to Jerusalem. Yes, you heard that. Paul went and sat with what he'd been revealed for 3 years. He didn't just, Holy Spirit's moving to me, and therefore Holy Spirit's moving to me, and therefore you got to listen to the man of God. I got good intentions. But that's what they do today. They want to jump up. And this is what's going to happen. How many times do you see the young Christian pop up and they hit the trend and they fall so hard? Why? Because these are the ones along the path where the word is sown. I'm about to start going in on that one. It's the wrong one. And these are the ones sown on rocky ground. The ones who, when they hear the word, immediately receive it with joy, and they have no root in themselves, but endure for a while. But then when tribulation or persecution arises on account of the word, immediately they fall away. They run out there and then someone's going to be like, And here's what I really believe it is. They get to the point where Satan finally gets them back to an edge and he's like, I'm going to push you unless you stop saying something. And they don't want to get pushed because they never really trusted Jesus was going to catch them. They never really took that step. It's easy to run through the field of flowers and say, I love Jesus, especially in America. We don't really face a lot of persecution, so it's really simple for false believers to run free here. There's a reason why you don't see large numbers of false believers in countries where Christians get murdered. There's a reason why there's not large numbers of false believers in North Korea. There's not large numbers of crazy progressive Christianity underground in China. There's not crazy numbers of wild occultist false Christianity in these countries where it's like, we will cut your head off. Because that level of persecution is real. People don't just blindly say, I serve that thing. But when it's in our communities and cultures here in the United States, it's a little group. It's a little tribe. And that's all we have. So we run around saying, I'm a Christian. But then what happens is sometimes someone does get face to face with, you shouldn't be doing that. And the sad thing is the persecution on account of the word, sometimes that happens from fellow Christians, but not in a negative way. Sometimes they get hit with, hey, brother, if you serve Christ, what are you doing here? And that hits their heart. As a street preacher, I can speak to situations where people get their title of Christian literally stripped from them on the street by street preachers. And it's that reason why they seek truth and end up finding the Lord in reality. Because they finally run into someone and they always, whenever they see us, and I'm not saying this to be rude, but Christians, the most cultural Christians are the ones who want to talk to street preachers. Other Christians just like, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? God bless, man. They might give you a little fist bump. But then there's always the one that runs up like, yes, I love Jesus too. And we're just like, hey, quick question. What's the gospel? Not a gotcha. Just wondering if you could tell me. I love you. And then suddenly there's anger starts. What? No. This is that seed that sprouts up quickly.